All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about the De-Atomizer 9000. We're going to go over the perks for this weapon. We're going to go over the character that you should use if you want to really focus just on this weapon. We're going to talk about the strategy that you're going to want to use when using this weapon. We're going to go over the whole thing. We're going to talk about all of it. And by the time we're done, you're going to know everything that you want to know about this crazy looking future rocket launcher, man. All right, hold on to your butts. All right, guys. So if you love the content that we're doing here, please use our supporter creator code. It really goes a long way to helping us do what we're doing here. So thank you so much, guys. All right, let's get right into it. So this crazy looking aliens attack. And it's like when Mars attacks all over again. Look at this thing. It's like I'm having flashbacks of the plasma. Oh yeah! And it pretty much is. This pretty much is. Take all the OP nonsense that is the plasma and cram it into a giant rocket launcher. I love this weapon. This weapon, just so you know, guys, this weapon is probably like top 3 for most powerful rocket launchers ever made. This one, for AoE clearing, this one is going to be the most powerful rocket of any rocket. Compared to like the Santa's Little Helper, the Santa's Little Helper doesn't have a huge radius on the explosions, so you have to be very precise with your hits. So even though the Santa's Little Helper does a ton of damage, it's not really, it just doesn't compete with the amount of enemies that will get caught in the blast radius. The power of this gun, the strategy with this weapon is to move really fast, to jump up over your targets and shoot down. So you jump and you see the thickest concentration of enemies and you shoot into the ground at their feet, and it will like smash the enemies and then release basically scatter bombs all around, just doing absolutely insane damage. The power of this gun comes from the number of enemies that it's going to hit because of that massive range, the mobility of this gun, and the rate of fire of this gun. This gun can fire so fast and hit so many targets that you can clear out just insane amounts of enemies so quick that you don't even know what to do with yourself. It's just nuts. It's nuts. You just walk in and just delete. Only once did I ever overheat this gun, and it only overheated for like a second. The rest of the time I was just like trying to line up a shot to like just bust up massive wads of enemies. Shooting blasters in the face with this thing was like a 1 or a 2 shot kill. If you got a crit, it's a game over. Like get out the way. Took on a smasher, just absolutely mangled that smasher. My first shot wasn't a crit, so it didn't do amazing damage, and then I crit him and just like, you just watch, he just gets deleted so hard. It's just like, holy moly, this thing, like, it blows up, and then all the supplemental damage of the explosion effects just boom, just pounds the entire area into the ground. The De-Atomizer is one of the most powerful rocket launchers ever made. If you haven't got your hands on this gun, you need to get your hands on this gun, man. This gun, the De-Atomizer 9000. Oh yeah! Oh my god, this thing is strong. Just power. Retro sci-fi launcher. Get it, guys. Don't miss out. Get it today. God roll this weapon. It is worth the perks. So yeah, let's talk about this thing. We're gonna go right into the perks because the perks are quite lovely. So the best perk loadout for this gun is without question crit rate, crit damage, durability, and energy. Now this thing has a passive of eliminating an enemy creates an expanding ring of damage that can occur only once every 4 seconds. So you kill somebody and you get this little pew ring of damage, and it hits a bunch of people and does very mediocre damage. It's not a big deal. But whatever. And it's every 4 seconds. It's not a big deal. You look at the damage, it doesn't look like anything, anything outlandish. It's 47,000 damage on my stats, which is, pretty low. It doesn't seem like it's going to rock your world or anything. You know, 38% chance to crit, pretty standard. 320% critical hit damage, you know, whatever. The range is actually pretty low. You know, you can only shoot your ball of energy so far, and then it'll just fizzle out and it just explode automatically, and whatever's around it gets hit, and then that's it. That's as far as it shoots. It's not a shoot forever kind of weapon. You got an you know, an okay impact ratio. It's not bad. It's not amazing. You got your heat generation and your cooling speed. You know, they're going with those new dumb perks that, like, I don't even know why they have them in the game, honestly. There was one situation in this entire game where I went and actually shot it a little too fast, and I was like, oh, I had to stop firing for all of 1 second and then continued to, you know, pound everything into the ground. So heat capacity and heat generation doesn't matter at all. I'm going to show you the perk options right here real quick. So energy is locked in, of course. This one is you have your crit damage. So crit rate, this is a no-brainer. This is obviously crit rate, because your other options are complete trash. It's like, hey, do you want to do situational damage or conditional damage to enemies that you don't have a condition on? Yeah, of course you don't. So we're obviously going to go with crit rate on this one. Alternatively, you can go with damage. So this is the one where you put the crit rate. Then you got your crit damage, and then this one doesn't have any good options. You got cooling rate and heat capacity, which are completely worthless. Totally worthless. So obviously you're going to stick durability on this guy to crank him up to 43. That way your weapons actually last a while when you're messing around with this thing. So this is for me is a no-brainer. There are some other options though. If you don't want to go with crit, you want to go with flat, you can actually go flat damage, durability, flat damage, flat damage. You do have flat damage in every single slot. So you do have the option, right? You know, if you prefer flat damage, you know, consistent damage over the variance, then you can do that. The downside to going with flat damage is that you're not going to get as much damage out of this over time. The great thing about crit, the thing that I love about crit that will forever dominate, forever, is the fact that if you shoot an enemy enough times, the amount of damage that crit will put out compared to flat damage is just not even comparable. Crit is so much stronger. Yes, you will have those crummy shots where you shoot and you don't crit and you do just pitiful damage. But when you do crit, it will more than make up for the bad shots. You know, it will just completely dwarf, you know, the slow times. You get those little and then boom! Just crushing. This is most noticeable when you're fighting against high health targets like a mist monster. If you use a damage weapon against a mist monster, it's going to take a long time to kill that target. You're going to hit him and hit him and hit him and hit him, and you're going to chunk consistently all the time until he dies. Or you can shoot him with a crit weapon, and yeah, you'll get some low ones, but when you get the high ones, it will just devastate those targets. So crit is so great against high health enemies when you need to really when your average damage over time needs to be super high. That's when the crit is going to really matter. And honestly, the fizzle shots are not that big a deal, because when your shots fizzle against small targets, the small targets are still probably going to die. But when you crit against a big target, it like completely makes up for a lack that the gun would have as a flat damage weapon. So 100%, man, go with a crit. Man, oh man, crit is just the king. Doesn't matter what weapon it is, it's going to dominate forever. It's every gun and everything is designed for crit. All we need now is to get a support hero with a support slot that actually boosts critical hit damage, which of course may not be a support slot. That may be a commander slot. I'm like, because I use flat damage on the rocket launcher only because there is no option to use a hero that does rocket critical damage. Otherwise, I'd be on that so fast to make your head spin. Get those smashers crit even harder. Just one day. So anyway, that's the perks. The perks are absolutely fantastic. So now we're gonna go over the support tree. This is the one that you want to use. This is the hero loadout that I would recommend for using this gun. I went with, of course, Demolitionist Penny. Demolitionist Penny she's the rocket character, man. She's the rocket man. Increases rocket launcher damage by 17% as a support, but as a commander perk, you get 50% increased launcher damage. This is just, it's so strong. Like 50% bonus damage on launchers is like, oh yeah, baby. Yeah. It's so good. Oh, so yeah, naturally I went with her. She's the only rocket launcher damage centric character in the game. The other one is like a Blakebeard, but he only affects cannonballs, and this of course is not a cannonball style weapon, so it doesn't really help you at all. There are other heroes that you could potentially go with if you want to use Arcade. Arcade is we'll just give you guys a quickie on him because he is an option. I thought about using him, but I was like, whatever. Here he is right here. This is Enduring Machine with 8-bit demo. He's our Arcade hero. He's really cool. His ability saves you on durability. Now this guy's obviously best used on rocket launcher characters because I mean, when you put him as a support perk, it's only going to save you for 2 uses. So obviously with a rocket, that's a big deal. You shoot 2 times with a rocket launcher, you do a ton of damage. This triggers the durability reduction every time you use an ability. So if you want to use an ability and then fire twice and then use an ability, fire twice, you can do that. Or if you use him as a main character, as a commander, you actually get to shoot 6 times before your durability reduction runs out, which is, pretty wild. If you want your weapons to last a long time instead of, doing just massive damage up front, then yeah, he's a great character. Personally, I don't care about the resources that I'm using to build rocket launchers. So this guy, I just didn't even bother. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay knowing that my rocket launchers are going to eat up my materials. That's why I don't usually use rocket launchers in the first place. I would rather have, tons of damage and tons of, ability. Durability is a luxury perk for me. It's not a necessity. So I did think about him and I decided not to use him. So we are using Blast from the Past because why wouldn't we, man? This ability is so messed up. Removes all your shield and increases your max health by 200%. That's not necessarily the reason that I would use this. The reason I would use this team perk is because I'm comboing this with Saurian Might. Saurian Might is just absolutely disgusting. This is Rex Jonesy. Saurian Might makes it so that every 1 second, it adds 3% of your current health to the damage of your next ranged weapon hit. As you can imagine, this is pretty messed up. If you're rocking around with 1 million health, then every single shot that you do is going to do an extra 30,000 damage. Dang, right? Like, get out the way, bro. So, yeah, this was a no-brainer for me. I'm obviously going with Blast in the Past, locking in Saurian Might. That way, you have one extra hero built into this character that you can actually use to do damage, because there's not a lot of damage options for rocket launchers. So we've got 2. We've got our main Demolitionist Penny, the monster, and then locking it down with Saurian Might to get that extra boost, right? Amazing. So then we have Saurian High, because we need 2 different dino heroes to lock down the team perk. And this one just, gives you an extra 33 armor, makes you have that extra survivability in case you get hit. As long as your shield is depleted, which of course it always is, using Blast in the Past. Perfect team synergy. Then we're going to rock with Survivalist Jonesy here, so that we can get some healing. Eliminations heal you for 39 base health over 3 seconds. This basically means that over 3 seconds, you'll get about 10% of your health back. It's about 3+ percent per second. Coming out to about 10% every 3 seconds. So just a nice solid ability that refreshes every time you get an additional elimination. So as long as you keep on killing enemies, every second you'll have that health just slowly pushing you up, slowly repairing you. Amazing. Absolutely fantastic. And you're not going to take a ton of damage on this character, but you are going to get hit by some ranged hits and stuff. And so if you're smart and you use your Survivalist effectively, you'll be able to keep your health up and keep that Saurian Might bonus just blaring the entire time. After that, I went with Bomb Suit. Bomb Squad Kyle is a you know, it's just solid extra 22 armor. Nothing fancy. Just decrease the amount of damage that you take. Whenever I have a character where I don't really have any bonus damage options, I usually throw on some extra armor, and Fleetfoot can for extra movement speed. Gives you an extra 12.5% movement speed. That way you move fast, you have lots of armor, you take less damage, you regenerate your health. You know, just all survivability, right? Take less damage, move fast so that you don't get hit at all. So you're constantly moving, constantly dodging. You know, when you do get hit, you don't get hurt that bad. And then your survivalist just keeps you healing and healing and healing. So we got double armor, movement speed, heals, and then 2 damage bonus perks. So really nasty build. It works so well. I use this even on this is very similar to my sword build, actually, because using Saurian Might means that in a lot of ways you can get the damage from, you know, from one skill, and you can just put everything else into defense to make it so that you just never die. You have this immortal destroyer build that is just unstoppable. So this is the this is your sci-fi launcher build for sure. I love this one. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. Ring that little bell and comment down below and let me know what you think of this weapon. Let me know if you came up with a different hero perk loadout. And let me know if you're actually using the same crit build that I love to use, or if you prefer a different style. I really want to know your guys' point of views and see, you know, what your tactics are and what your perception of this weapon is, because man, I am a huge fan, and I can't wait to see if you guys are as hyped just as jacked about this gun as I am. So guys, thank you so much for being a part of the VASH Corps. You guys are just, you make my whole world, man. I'm chasing this dream as hard as I can, and I'm so blessed that you guys are here with me, watching these videos, helping us, you know, helping us survive on here and grow, and just being a part of my world, man. Thank you so much for being a part of my community. And yeah, I hope to see you guys come over to the Twitch channel and hang out. I'd love to help you guys do anything that you're struggling with, whether you need me to, you know, help build your trap tunnels, or help, you know, you need my help to actually smash an SSD or a war game or a quest or whatever it is you're struggling with. I would love to help you guys out. I play with my community all day, every day, and you need to come and ask me about our system that we have set up to make it fair for everybody, so that everybody gets a chance to play with me without, you know, without any favoritism or anything. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Oh yeah. Hey guys, we're out here all day, every day, chasing our dream and trying to build this community. If you love what we're doing here and you support the dream, and if you have the means to actually donate and contribute to what we're doing here, I would really love for you guys to come out and support us on Patreon. It's the lifeblood of any content creator. It's the only reason that that we're staying afloat and able to do what we're doing here. And if you have the means, I would love for you to come out and support us, and yeah, help us keep doing what we're doing. Thank you so much, guys.